silver, these ETFs, even though they're paper, are the best way to do it because you're not subject to are they hedged or are they not hedged? Are they in places like Bolivia and other countries where nationalization could be coming? Because it is. I mean, it gets that nationalization is kind of along the lines of the confiscation issues. And no, I don't think the U.S. you could confiscate things in a small country ruled by some kind of despot, tin pot dictator. It is. And so if you really want to participate, you want to eliminate as many of those factors that could keep you from fully participating. And so there are not the SLV. I wouldn't, you could use that to trade, I guess. You could buy calls on it. Yeah. But if you own that or GLD and think that you own physical, I think you're crazy. So I encourage people to look at I think it's ProShares has the AGQ, which is a paper-only product. It owns silver futures, and it moves 2 times the price of silver. So you get double bang for your buck. It's not as much leverage and as much fun as trading actual options on futures, which is what I do. But if all your money is in an IRA and it's self-directed and you want to own something, AGQ, double long silver. Now it's pricey. It's now 300 something a share. And again, if you get into a 20% correction, that thing's going to get the living snot kicked out of it.
That's true.
So you got to stay pretty nimble. They have a double long gold, which is UGL, UGL. That's the way. That's what where did they come up? Maybe it's ultra gold, so UGL. That's where they came up with that. But yeah, that's not a very fair trading symbol. So you can trade. That is if you really want to get, if you think gold's going to 1,600, you might as well buy that instead of buying El Dorado gold. Or you could buy American Barrick because they're not, or Barrick, whatever they call it, Barrick Gold, because they're not hedged anymore. But I'd rather I think people should buy UGL instead of Gold Corp. Yeah, UGL is going to go up a hell of a lot more than Gold Corp is.
Yeah.
So, but you don't want to get married to them. And again, they're futures contracts. And if the COMEX falls apart, what's going to be the value of those things? But at least they're liquid every day, every second of the day. So, anyway, how's that for a completely long answer?
Sounded great to me.
Is there nationalization risk? Yes. How's that?
That sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, the next question we have is from McLaren.
Thanks, Jules. This question is actually from forum member Nad. About the original manipulation, I think DARPA realized the electronics industry was a key area to promote our national security. Price suppression was required to ensure a low-cost supply of silver. Could this be why Buffett was made to sell his silver? The price increase based on his purchase had rocked the boat. What are the advantages or disadvantages to holding each of the following? Coin, rounds, bars, eagles? Thanking you in your language, I hate Blythe.
I got to go back. I got to read that question so I can make sure I answer it all. That's another one of those multi-question questions. All right, I'm going to start at the top. That's a plausible explanation as to why silver has had his price suppressed for all these years. Is it more plausible than why I think it's had its price suppressed? I don't know. But that's certainly because of the industrial use and because of the military industrial use. How many pounds of silver or whatever it is that's in a cruise missile. And they want to have it readily available for the suppliers. The suppliers are already being compensated by the government, so who cares? I don't like that theory now that I've thought it through. I think there are other more viable reasons as to why price is being suppressed than that. Okay. And that gets to the Buffett thing. And if you want me to expand upon my personal theory as to why precious metals prices are actively suppressed, I'll be happy to. Advantages, disadvantages of holding each of the following: coins, rounds, bars, and eagles. Coins and frankly, it's just a practical matter, I guess, for lack of a better answer. The bigger the bar, the harder it is to hide and store, and the heavier it is, the more it's worth, and the harder it is to use. If you ever do get into a solar event where we're going to actually, that wipes out the ability to use paper money, and you need coins to actually transact business. So smaller to me is better, just because it's easier to hide and to store than it is, and it's because it's just smaller. I apologize if that sounds simple, but it really is that simple, at least to me.
Okay, thanks. Second question from forum member Nad. I've been putting silver away since 1963. Everyone uses the Hunt's attempt at cornering the silver market as a basis for where silver will go today. There is more silver, and we know what real money is. Today, with the shortage of the metal, I believe all the rules have changed. Then it was a greed situation fueled by soaring inflation of the 1970s. Today, banking manipulation to protect the dollar. How soon do you see the Crimex crash, and what steps do you think they will take to mitigate the damage?
Boy, that's again, we're in, that we're the COMEX crashing, the COMEX being unable to deliver on their promises. That's that point on the map. Beyond there be dragons. No one knows how that will sort itself out. And so, what steps would they take to mitigate the damage? That's we can speculate on it, but I can't say for sure. Getting back to the Hunts. That is a data point on a chart at this point, is all that is. Technical analysis has validity in a closed market. In the smaller the closed market, the better, where as many participants as possible are looking at the same information, because it becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know what I mean? People look at it and say, there's going to be resistance here. And if enough people look at a spot, $50, let's say, the Hunt price, roughly, and if enough people are looking at that and go, I expect selling at 50, then people will sell at 50. And then once the selling develops, people go, aha, see, they're selling at 50. I better sell too. And it becomes this kind of self-fulfilling event. So the Hunt price of 50, again, is nothing more than a data point. It's not a value. It's not a true representation of the maximum value silver has in fiat dollars. I mean, that's nonsense. I mean, it's not. It is nothing but a data point that'll need to be overcome. Can you expect some selling there? Probably. I mean, yeah. If I were working, if I was a monkey, if I was Blythe, if Blythe has his power, and I wanted to try to paint the chart to create selling, that would be about our last chance to do it. An obvious point, because you'd have everybody again coming out, the disinformation agents and people that were frankly trying to be honest as well, saying silver went to 50 in 1980 and now it's 50 again, and now it's back down to 45. We've double topped. It's a cup formation. They'd be drawing lines all over the screen to show you this. And there'd be a lot of people that would believe that don't know the fundamentals, that want to believe it's a bubble, that want to think it's a parabolic blow off and blah, blah, blah. And it would become fulfilling, and you'd get a correction down to 40 or something, at which point I hope it happens, because I'll sure be buying the heck out of it as it goes down. So anyway, long story short, a long answer short, if I could, I guess, that hunt point is nothing more than a data point on the chart that people will be looking at. Whether it stops there or not is just going to be a function of whether people let it stop there. And if it does, it will only be temporary.
Okay, thanks very much, Turd. The next question would come from the Lone Gunman. He's another forum member. On Monday, April 18th, the S&P, or Standard & Poor's, finally put sovereign U.S. debt on negative watch for a possible downgrade. As I see it, outcome one. The Bernanke, Blythe, and her monkeys all freak out, resign, commit seppuku, and common sense breaks out in the nation's capital. And we finally put our financial house in order. Or another outcome is the sounds of yawning and chirping crickets in the halls of power, and we proceed to financial Armageddon 2.0. What do you make of the S&P move, and what does it mean for PM prices?
What do I make of the S&P move? I think it is a CYA type thing. All the ratings agencies were proven to be, I don't want to say worthless, of little value in 2008. And how could they try to regain any credibility while turning a blind eye to the balance sheet of the United States federal government? I mean, that they're even AAA, negative is with whatever the phrasing of it, but even that is, that's bogus. The United States is AAA because we have the ability to print the world's reserve currency to pay off our debt. Great. Okay. What value is that actual money? And the $1,000 that I gave to buy a bond 10 years ago, by the time they give it back to me, has $100 worth of purchasing power in the today's dollars. What good is that? How is losing 90% of my value of my money AAA rated? But in the static scoring that they do, like, okay, fine. So anyway, what do I make of the S&P move? Fine. They're just trying to show that they have that they're not biased, I guess, trying to build up some credibility, which they don't have. What does it mean for PM prices? PM prices are a function of a number of things, chief of which the value of the dollar, and then also demand, obviously, the supply and demand curve. This should show, and we've seen a dramatic move in the dollar since this was announced back on Monday, down. And if that serves to increase demand, it's a double win. So what does it mean for PM prices? Higher.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, McLaren. And that CYA, for people that's not good with acronyms, is cover your ass. And I think that goes with Turd's bottom. Anyway, moving on to Giuseppe.
Yes, hi. Mr. Turd, do you mind if I call you Mr. Turd?
By all means.
Okay, very good. This might be a long question here for you. Anyway, nonetheless, I'm going to try. Our small community is brought together by our belief that that future events have been deciphered by the bots. Some of these events, slowly coming true, are about the dollar death, or should I say paper currency dying in general, and of course gold and silver rising in value. The basic prediction is of the dollar dying with all other paper-denominated currencies. And for a period of time anyway, gold and silver